Chapter 2: Descriptive Statistics. In this chapter, we are providing an overview of using data. First of all, what is data? Data is the facts and figures collected, analyzed, and summarized for presentation and interpretation. For example, the temperature is data, 76 degrees. The weather, sunny, rainy, is data. And there are different types of data, as you can see from the two examples that I just gave. What about the variables, as you can see in this slide? Variable, it is a characteristic or a quantity of interest that can take on different values. So the variable could be the temperature. Temperature can take different values from 0 degrees to 120 degrees. Weather is a variable. Can be sunny, windy, rainy. Observation is a set of values corresponding to a set of variables. For example, we are observing the temperature for January 2017. That's a set of values corresponding to a set of variables. And we are also observing the weather, including it's sunny, if it's windy, for a single day in January 2017. What about variation? That's the difference in a variable measured over observations. For example, when we measure the temperature of each single city in the United States on a specific day, let's say January 1st, 2017, they will not take the same value because they have different temperatures for different cities. So the difference between the temperatures in different cities are called or considered variation. And random variable or uncertain variable means a quantity whose values are unknown with certainty. For example, we don't know what the weather will be like in February 2017. So that means there are some random variable or uncertain variable for the weather in February 2017. Let's take a look at another set of examples. For example, Table 2.1 are the data for Dow Jones Industrial Index companies who are publicly trading in the US stock market. So what are the variables? Variables are the symbol, industry, share price, and volume. What are the observations? Each row in this table are considered an observation. What about variation? If we look at the time, customer, item, etc., there are variations among them. And I hope by now you are able to distinguish between data, variables, observation, and variation. Next, we will take a closer look at the data. Which are the types of data? First of all, when we look at a population, it means all elements of interest. Examples are with the thousands of publicly traded companies in the United States. Tracking and analyzing all of these stocks every single day would be too time consuming and expensive. So we need to take a sample, or we call it a subset of the population. And the Dow represents a sample of 30 stocks of large public companies based in the United States, and it is often interpreted to represent the larger population of all publicly traded companies. And of course, we can also take a random sampling. For example, when we take the census analysis or census data, it is actually random sampling, a sampling method to gather a representative sample of the population. Quantitative data are the values for volume in the Dow data in Table 2.1 and can be summed to calculate the total volume of all shares traded by companies included in the Dow. And again, we have categorical data. The data in industry column in Table 2.1 are categorical. The number of companies in the Dow that are in the telecommunications industry can be counted. Some other examples regarding quantitative data are the height of a person. It is quantitative data. Categorical data, the gender of a person, male, female, they are categorical data. Besides quantitative data and categorical data, we also have sectional data and time series data. Let's look at the example for cross-sectional data. The data in Table 2.1 are cross-sectional because they describe the 30 companies that comprise the Dow at the same point in time, April 2013. Essentially, cross-sectional data are data collected from several entities at the same or approximately the same point in time. The next part is the time series data, and it is easy to understand that data collected over several time periods are considered time series data. Let's look at an example here. This figure 2.1 illustrates that the DJI was near 10,000 in 2002 and climbed to above 14,000 in 2007. However, the financial crisis in 2008 led to a significant decline in the Dow Jones index to between 6,000 and 7,000 by 2009. Since 2009, the Dow Jones index has been generally increasing and topped 14,000 in April 2013. And the third types of data are the sources of data. That includes experimental study. A variable of interest is first identified. A non-experimental study or observational study make no attempts to control the variables of interest. I'm going to explain one simple example here. If a pharmaceutical company is interested in conducting an experiment to learn about how a new drug affects blood pressure, then blood pressure is the variable of interest in the study. The dosage level of the new drug is another variable that is hoped to have a causal effect on blood pressure. To obtain data about effects of new drug, researchers select a sample of individuals. The dosage level of the new drug is controlled as different groups of individuals are given different dosage levels. Before and after the study, data on blood pressure are collected for each group. Statistical analysis of these experimental data can help determine how the new drug affects blood pressure. Let's look at one example for the non-experimental study. This figure 2.2 shows a customer opinion questionnaire used by a Chop City Grill in Naples, Florida. Note that the customer who filled out the questionnaire are asked to provide ratings for 12 variables, including overall experience, the greeting by hostess, the table visit by the manager, overall service, and so on. The response categories of excellent, good, average, fair, and poor provide categorical data that enable Chop City Grill management to maintain high standards for the restaurant's food and service. In some cases, the data needed for a popular application already exists from an experimental or observational study already conducted. And companies maintain a variety of databases about their employees, customers, and business operations. And this video serves as a very basic introduction about the data, variable, variation, fundamentals of data analytics or business analytics, And later on in this chapter 2, we will provide hands-on tutorials about how to create categorical data descriptive analysis, how to create analysis for numeric data, and how to create very simple predictions using the historical data. That concludes our introduction to chapter 2.